Tuesday morning, Norwood police received a call from a guest at the Courtyard Marriott that a man with a gun was threatening to kill him. This call later led to a chase of a stolen vehicle that ended on Brookline Ave in Boston. Chief Brooks gives NCM the exclusive.
Hi, I'm Chief Bill Brooks of the Norwood Police Department. I'm here to talk to you about an event that happened on Tuesday at the Courtyard Marriott on Route 1. We received a call a little after 9 o'clock from a man who said that he was threatened by another man with a firearm. And this is a man who he had rented a room with, so they knew each other. A lot of the facts were unclear still. Our officers responded, found the caller on the third floor, really trying to stay away from the other subject. And he gave a similar statement that he had been threatened and the other man had a firearm. So we brought more officers to the scene, command staff, detectives, and so forth. We set a perimeter around the building so that we would catch this guy if he tried to leave. And then we also set about emptying rooms. And there were a whole bunch of electrical workers there from down south who were here for the predicted storm. We had to evacuate them from their rooms and put them someplace else. We wanted to make sure that if a shot was fired, that no one was hit. We then tried to call into the room, and we were getting no answer. We then knocked on the door, and again we got no answer. Then using a pass key, we made our way into the room to see if the subject was there, to see if he indeed had a firearm and to see if he had harmed himself. We found the room empty, but in plain view was some cocaine. Now, we had reason to believe there was a firearm in the room, and we had just seen drugs in the room, so we immediately secured the room, backed out, and the detectives, specifically Detective Paul Ryan, came back and wrote a search warrant affidavit, drove to the Dedham District Court, obtained a search warrant, and went back to the room and searched it. We recovered the cocaine that we had seen, and also during a search we did find the firearm, which was a Smith & Wesson 9mm semi-automatic. And the detectives obviously took custody of that. Around the time that we were clearing the hotel, a stolen vehicle report came in. Now, it was a little unusual. It came from Sunnyside Road, which is a very, very low crime neighborhood. And we don't get a lot of stolen vehicles anyway, other than rentals or cars off lots. And this was about 1 mile from the Courtyard Marriott. So when our officers started looking for this van, it was a van, Budget Drains, it said on the side. We were contacted by the company to tell us that they had GPS on that van, and they could give us locations. So they began to give us locations, and as they did, our units caught up with the van around the Westwood-Norwood line. They attempted to pull it over. The vehicle cut out of traffic, operated at a high rate of speed into the Islington section of Westwood, and when the officers got to about the Roach Brothers area, they terminated the pursuit out of public safety concerns. But using the GPS, we were able to direct Boston and State Police to the location of the van as it drove down through Dedham and then down eventually through the VFW Parkway, the Jamaica Way, then onto the Riverway, and eventually down onto Brookline Avenue in the area of Fenway Park, where State and Boston Police stopped it. We arrived at the scene. We told State and Boston Police that that van had been stolen from the area where we were on a gun call, and sure enough, the man driving the van, a man by the name of Jason DeVoe, was the other subject from the hotel room, and he was placed under arrest by State Police and booked on receiving a stolen motor vehicle. We've also charged DeVoe, who is from Florida, with a negligent operation and failure to stop for a police officer. So he was booked by State Police. He was held on $10,000 bail. Mr. Jimenez, who we had brought here to the station, who was the man who originally made the call, but was, we would allege is responsible, partly responsible for the drugs in the hotel room. He was also held here at the station on $10,000 bail. Fortunately, I think restraint on our part, restraint by State and Boston Police, in their eventual ability to get this van stopped and to arrest the operator and to recover a gun on a gun threat call without any shots being fired, and without anybody being injured. I just think that our department really performed well, as did Boston and State Police.